Hello and welcome to In the Zone, your one-stop source for the latest news on Intel through our Tech Provider Zone site. Joining me today is Peter Krass, editor of Tech Provider Zone, and we're going to spend a few minutes chatting about some of the hottest stories currently on Tech Provider Zone. And Peter, there's just so much craziness going on in the real world right now that it's real easy for solution providers, especially the last couple of weeks, to lose sight of what's going on closer to home. But what's cooking right now on Tech Provider Zone? I see some news out there about how AI is helping businesses reopen. What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking about that. It's part of a very interesting strategy over at Intel that they call RISE. It's an acronym for Responsible, Inclusive, Sustainable, and Enabling. And I guess one of the big ideas is that AI, if improperly used, can basically reflect the biases of the people who set it up. So then the question becomes, assuming these biases are involuntary and unintentional, how do you make sure that AI doesn't bring them over and interfere with the way it should work? So Intel's doing a number of interesting projects. One of them's around the pandemic. They're trying to use AI for that. It's part of a big I think $60 million effort Intel's making on the pandemic front. Another is a thing they're calling federating data, which is a way of sharing data among hospitals without violating the privacy of any of the patients. And the third area is around what they're calling explainability. Some of these AI systems are such black boxes that people just don't really trust them or understand them.
Why is, I know one of the things that's on the site is that Intel's collaborating with the ecosystem of partners with the RISE strategy. We talked about what it stands for, but why is RISE? Why is it so important? Why is it such a thing right now that people should, who are reading the site and listening to this, why should they be aware of it and be paying attention to it?
Well, AI use is growing. It's really becoming like a mainstream technology. And at the same time, I think people want to make sure that it's being used responsibly. It's being used for good and not even unintentionally for something that's less than good. And I think that's a huge issue. And if people feel like the technology can't be trusted or understood, they're going to be reluctant to use it.
Great stuff. Let's move to another story I found really interesting on techproviderzone.com. I see you're talking about how to securely manage your remote workforce. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, securing the remote workforce is a new and growing issue. It's part of the pandemic. Many millions of people are working from home or working from branch offices. And this actually creates new security issues for IT guys. First of all, some of these people are working on older PCs, including Windows 7, which isn't being updated anymore, and can be a security risk. But just the fact that these people are no longer behind the corporate firewall can be a big issue. So we actually have a video which you moderated with Eric Townsend. Eric is the Intel's director of SMB and MSP marketing. And he talks about some of these issues. He also talks about how Intel vPro technology can help folks with these management issues.
Yeah, Eric's a great guy, and when you watch the video, you'll see he's got a great, really much like Peter has. He's got a great bookshelf behind him, which I think is kind of cool, and he updates it all the time. So, but real quick, Peter, before we move on, how does the Intel vPro technology help solution providers manage that remote workforce?
Well, one of the things it does, especially for people who are doing service, it eliminates the need to always go out on the road to service a PC. You can do this remotely, save huge amounts of time. You also have a safety issue now, right? People don't necessarily want to be going into an office where they don't know folks. So right from your home office or wherever you happen to be located, you can get remote access to a client or customer's PC.
Excellent. And then just one last story I wanted to run through. It's actually more of an event that's coming up. I hear there's some buzz about the upcoming Intel Partner Alliance. What can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. This is a big deal. Scheduled for mid-January. The big announcement of Intel Partner Alliance. It's going to consolidate all of Intel's partner programs into a single program. That said, participants will be able to take advantage of the program based on their role. There'll be different functions and drill downs for, say, OEMs, for cloud service providers, for resellers, depending on what your role is. In the meantime, we still have the Intel Technology Provider Program, and it's important that people realize they can still get their benefits from this program. They don't need to wait for January. For example, there's points you can get from purchases. There's all sorts of training. We have Intel Partner University. There's the Solutions Marketplace. There's many, many benefits out there. And it's important that people realize they don't have to wait for the big Partner Alliance announcement in January. They can take advantage of these benefits now.
Excellent. Peter, thank you so much. As always, Peter's always full of information, great stuff. Intel's always got great information as well. So the best place to find out what Peter knows about Intel is to go to techproviderzone.com, because that's got the latest news about Intel and technology through the eyes and ears of Peter and his great staff of writers and reporters. The site's updated constantly with the latest goings on about Intel. And thanks, Peter, for your time. Thanks, everyone, for those of you watching and listening. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again real soon, and take care, everyone.